Yo, my name is Big Lou, and you are now listening to Go Produce. We're the show that explores how music industry professionals turn their passion into profit. In this episode, we've got Kathryn King, a radiant Christian artist, worship leader, and mother. The Go Produce focus of this episode is how do you maneuver ups and downs to life as an artist, and what to consider when you want to participate in contemporary Christian music. If you are curious to learn how this artist turns tragedy into triumph, then this episode is for you. Thank you, Kathryn, for being here. I want to let you know that we do appreciate your time, so why don't we just go ahead and go produce. I'm going to start off with a nice introduction so that we all know who we're dealing with today. Kathryn is a recording artist. She's a worship leader. She is a mother of two. She's a true inspiration within her industry. In 2008, Kathryn released her first album entitled The Door is Open, which reached global markets. And then soon after, she ran into bankruptcy, which forced a temporary hiatus. During this phase of her life, she received support through her local church as well as others, which led to her 2011 live workshop album entitled Your Kingdom Come. Kathryn's most recent project called By Oil was released in 2015. Since then, she has taken time away from her professional career, but remains very active within her church and her Christian community. Please welcome Kathryn King, also known as Kathryn Marquis. We're all clapping here for you. Thank you, Kathryn.
Welcome. The sound of one hand clapping.
Yeah, we can fix that later on. Beauty of technology. But thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. How you doing today?
Thank you so much. Oh, it is my pleasure to be here. Just thrilled. Thanks for having me.
So I want to introduce to you the first segment. The first segment today is called The Basics. Do you see that nice and clearly? The basics. So what we're doing today is running through some simple questions so that we can all get to know you a little bit better. We're going to ask some basic questions and see what we figure out. Okay. So I like to start out with this one. This is one of my personal favorites, but I want to know, what is your first musical memory? And I think if we're going back in time here, this is a perfect opportunity to use your awesome sound effect.
My first musical memory. Ooh, did not involve cool sound effects. I'm not sure it's my first one, but this is burned in my brain. I was one of those kids where piano lessons were imposed on me. Mm-hmm. I came from a line of actually women who were piano, even violin teachers, choir leaders, singers. And so it was not optional in my family. Everybody was taking piano lessons. And I can remember being subjected to a Kiwanis festival when I was just like little, and having to play a duet with my piano teacher's daughter. And I remember the name of the duet was Marching Moon Men.
Okay.
Yeah, burned in my mind. And so we got up there to do our thing. She was on one end of the piano, I was on the other end. We began for the adjudicators, and probably the third note of mine was bad. Lost my place, quit playing, and my partner just kept going.
Yeah.
So I just sat there, frozen, horrified. Through the entire, and that was,
And that is seared into memory.
Musical performance right there.
Oof. I mean, at least it didn't deter you.
Clearly not.
Clearly not, yeah. Maybe for a little bit, but I mean, you got right back up. That's awesome too, though. Wow. That's a first. Yeah. That's a first, absolutely. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. Next question. It's very evident that music is a big part of your life, whether you're not working on it professionally. You're still engaged in it. But I want to know, what do you do when you're not working on music altogether?
When I'm not working on music altogether, that's an excellent question. I have a day job as an optometric assistant right now. So I'm actually, I know, optometric assistant. So I'm an assistant to an optometrist, to an eye doctor. Okay. And so I'm front of house when the world returns to working again. I'm front of house a few days a week in a doctor's office. So that's cool. It's nice to deal with people and kind of to be out in the real world. The church can sometimes be kind of a unto itself community. Right. So I actually really enjoy being out with the rest.
Integrating with the rest of the world. Nice. That's right. Yeah. I understand that too, on a different level, but I understand that. Cool. I've got another question here that will give us a little bit more insight. When you are working on music or other creative aspects of your life, what does your process look like?
That's an awesome question. And that kind of creative process is really unique to the artist unique to people. Everybody's sort of got their own way.
Yep.
I'm probably split between sort of that creative download where the muse comes to you at weird times. I might be out for a walk. Lots of people joke. My closest friends joke. I often will write songs in the shower. I'll get a download of lyrics.
No
or
judgment there. It's real.
It's probably
That's
the only
real.
time I'm quiet, honestly. Yeah. And so I've written whole songs in the shower just with the sort of creative download that comes, and then get out dripping and try to write it down.
You know there are shower pads?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But that like maybe needs to be my next investment.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done that yet, but the amounts of times that I cut my showers short for the sake of writing a couple words down.
Right? Come on. See,
Yeah.
I'm not alone in this.
No.
I think it's maybe we're closed in and, anyway.
No.
So I would say that's probably 60 to 70% of my process. But I'm also somebody that appreciates the writing and the rewriting process. So there is something to be said for sitting down and laboring something out over an idea. Something may have inspired me during the day, because the music comes from a faith base. If I've heard a message in church, if I've heard a preacher or seen something on social media that has inspired me, I can sit down and labor over that point and, spend days or weeks creating that way. And so really my process is probably split between those two things, but I prefer the sense of the organic download because for me, that carries an authenticity for me. And that's not a judgment on other people's process.
Yeah.
I will never be somebody who could just crank out a song as a product because, hey, this is a great song idea and I'm just going to write it. It has to come from something personal, some kind of aha moment in my own life.
A deeper significance to it. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. I like both points of like what you mentioned, because we do run into moments of inspiration. I mean, you can't really control when you're going to see something that sparks an idea. You don't. You just can't control that. And it can happen within the confines of your shower, oddly enough. But at the same time, if you don't have the commitment to actually sit down and work on your craft, refine it, you're only going to go so far at the same time.
That's it.
So I like both points that you made there. I've got one more question for this segment. Yeah. What is something that people seem to misunderstand about you?
People seem to misunderstand about me. That is an excellent question. You're going to have to edit out this long pause. Right?
Perfect. We've got the facility for that.
I think as on the artist sort of sphere, in the artist realm, probably, and we can get deeper into this a little bit later, but probably the greatest source of misunderstanding is that I don't really find myself fitting in the sort of niche of the industry, and I am approached on. I have been approached in the past on multiple levels, about creating a product for this specific industry sort of angle, or why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I approach what I do in a more organic way than that. I struggle to sort of fit what I do into what would be considered industry standard. And so I do find this a long way around answering your question, but I do find that I get a lot of puzzled looks trying to explain why at least what I've done in the past as an artist, as a worship leader, doesn't necessarily fit in the mold of what is considered popular kind of worship on the worship stages of the world, or maybe the contemporary Christian music format. It's sort of like square peg round hole. And so
but you got to keep on trying.
Yeah. I think you got to be true to what's inside of you and let that open doors for you. Let what's inside you, the gift inside you, create space for you to be you. And then you're not shaped by what's out there. You're starting to shape what's out there.
Hey, if one thing is for certain is that life is malleable. It is always changing.
Yeah.
So
good word.
We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Yeah. You just got to keep on trying.
That's right.
Perfect. Well, I like that a lot. Thank you for that segment. We definitely know you a little bit better. The next round is the speed round. Wham! That was so fast.
So fast.
So in this speed round, we're going to ask you some rapid fire questions that are designed to be answered quickly by either saying yes, no, this, that, neither, or both. We're going to have some fun with it.
Pressure already.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Bring it.
I do want to let you know that you do have the opportunity afterwards to explain if you feel the need. But the point is just to go through this quick. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Work hard or play hard?
Play hard.
Cup in the cup gourd, right side up or upside down?
Upside down.
Are bananas and oranges sweet vegetables?
No.
Hamburger or taco?
Oh, why do I have to choose? Both.
Money or free time?
Free time.
Loud music or soft music?
Both.
Day event or night event?
Both.
Does your birthday always happen on the same day?
Well, yes.
I don't know. Dine in or delivery?
Oh, again, all these choices. Both.
Ooh, it's a tad nipply outside. Sweater or hoodie?
Oh, sweater.
Were you always a Christian artist?
Yes.
Phone call or text?
Oh, text. I don't use it for that.
Can a tiger be your pet?
Can you what?
A tiger. Rawr.
Can a tiger be my... I don't think we should go there with the whole tiger
We should
thing
just
right
avoid
now.
that altogether. All right, cool.
100%.
Do you like ice cream cones or snow cones?
Ice cream.
All right. If something is tasty, is it bad?
Oh, I'm too old for that. No, it's good.
Have you lost your mind due to the pandemic yet?
Not yet.
Is water wet?
Usually.
Weird or normal?
I decline to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate me.
I won't ask. Inside or outside? Outside. Do you want to learn another instrument?
Yes.
Nice. That concludes the speed round.
Speed round.
That was my attempt at making a fast noise.
Right on.
Well, do you want to make any explanations?
Yeah, I think, remind me the first question again.
The first question was work hard or play hard?
Yeah, because I answered play and then I thought, no, both.
Both.
It's definitely
both. You can't play too hard if you're not working hard. I mean, you're going to run out of things to play with.
Both are required. True. I think both are required to live life to the fullest.
Yeah. Some of these are just, they're like designed to really just, why are you even asking me this? Yeah. And then some like the birthday one. Does your birthday always happen on the same day? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Same date? Yes. Same day of the week?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Our next segment is designed to explore perspectives, and that is exactly what we're going to do. Next segment is called What's Yo Take? Bow, bow, bow. So we're going to provide you with up to 5 statements, topics, ideas, and we're going to ask you, boom, 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 what's your take? We're going to ask you essentially that. What is your take on these different ideas? So let's move right into it.
Let's do it.
One does not simply protect one's Facebook privacy with a status update. What's your take, Kathryn?
People and their Facebook. Yeah, I think we have a wide misunderstanding of how social media works.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And I think that's a big topic. Intelligence level on social media is a big topic. And I
questionable if it even exists, to be honest.
That is very, very true. And social media is one of those things that is a tool for good in the right hands and can be a tool for evil in the wrong ones. And so I think we have to be careful to remember that Facebook and other social media tools are a way for people to have a window into your life, a window especially into your profession. It's a great tool for artists, great tool for people who work in the industry that we do. But I think you're smart to remember that it is filtered through everybody else's understanding, everybody else's life, and you certainly are not going to protect your content. I can't even with the status update. Nor are you going to protect yourself from people's opinions.
No.
Those are going to fly all over the place. So I think, wisdom is needed. Integrity definitely needed in how social media is conducted in these days.
I agree.
And you're certainly not going to get the whole person through social media. And if you think you are, then we need to help.
I mean, you really have to ask yourself, how can you fully understand someone through their social media and expect others not to fully understand you if you're only putting yourself through social media? That's hocus pocus. That's backwards. Come on.
Right. Exactly. We got to consider it sort of an animated billboard into your life. It's a great professional tool.
A tool.
It can be a nice social tool, especially given the circumstances that the world finds itself in right now. Super great resource. But yeah, we do well to remember that is a tiny facet of the real human and the real life of people. And yeah, that status update, copied and pasted, not going to change your algorithm, not going to protect your images. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, that was a very detailed what's your take. Perfect. Second question, or this one's a question. Do you think musicians should ever perform or release music for free?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely,
At all stages, or what?
No, not necessarily. And I think that's kind of a loaded question. Should they? I think it should be considered an option for every artist and musician. I think it's something that people shouldn't necessarily throw away and say, I'm only going to do for profit.
Right.
Because art itself is something, we've seen it more than ever during this pandemic, that art is something that keeps our culture alive. People, the moment people are in need, the moment hope is needed, the moment things turn to the negative, the community of the world looks to art. We look to music, we look to media. And so I think there's a time and a place for giving back in that sense, for not creating a product where I'm going to make a profit, but for communicating who I am, for letting people see, that window into the sort of the soul of the artist, and just say, I'm just giving this because I am. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean artists should feel taken advantage of or feel pressured that what they do doesn't carry the value, of the monetary weight. Of course, we also are looking for income streams and looking to produce art for income, but I think we need to approach it that it is, art has always been a gift to the culture, always been a gift to the world. And I think we do well to hold that in balance.
Yeah, no, it's true. And then at some points, I like to think that it could possibly devalue the industry.
Perhaps.
But you kind of also address that because you're also giving back to the community. I mean, you got to give. Art is there to be given. And
if we look around, even at what's happening right now, the whole world is shut in. And suddenly art is widely available on social media, and big name artists are doing home concerts. They're not charging any money. They're giving back to the community. They're saying, this is the piece I can bring. And they're infusing hope. They're bringing joy. I mean, that's a prime example of how it doesn't devalue the industry, but it's creating personal connection.
Absolutely.
Suddenly those artists who were like up on a pedestal and were like, oh, those people, now it's become personal. Now they're real people. I think that can only help to prosper the industry once we've moved beyond this time. Now I feel like I know you, so now I'm going to go after the music you're producing. I'm going to go to your concerts. I feel like we have a rapport now.
All of a sudden, human connection becomes more valuable than that financial piece of paper that we call money.
Exactly. And this is the way that artists connect.
Yep.
So,
it's true. It's true. Cool. I really like that. I've got another one here relating to artists making some money and then some artists making lots of money. We don't got to hate because, I mean, they worked for it essentially. But in terms of celebrity culture, do you think that celebrity culture does not affect our mental health?
Do I think that celebrity culture does not affect? No, I believe it does affect our mental health.
Yeah, how so?
I do. I think it changes the way that we view ourselves. And I think it changes the way we view those who may not be as sort of exalted and lifted up as those people that, we hold in that very high celebrity status. Because if we're suddenly lifting people up based on their incredible gift, or in some cases, it's not even so much about the gift as it's about their marketing ability and the team that they have around them. And let's be honest, and the money that has gone into creating a product out of a human being, or a product out of a, you fill in the blank. There's a lot of effort and dollar that goes behind creating that sort of celebrity status, that celebrity platform for people. And I think it's human nature that we create celebrity. We flock to what the culture is saying is cool. We flock to what people are like, that's amazing. And I want to get in on that too. And I think as humans, we're drawn to the beauty of great gifting as well. But we know from the industry that there are loads of people with incredible gifts that are not necessarily mainstream in the industry. Nobody's heard of them before. Their reach may be limited for a variety of reasons.
There's also quite the opposite too.
Right. Yes. Yes, it is. Sometimes those who are really exalted and lifted up as celebrities don't really have the strength of the gifting to carry it. And you wonder, how did that happen? But no, I in terms of it affecting mental health, I think it can really skew how the everyday person looks at themselves. And you can really start to devalue, if we buy into that culture, it starts to devalue who I am. I start to look inside, then I think I need to be like this or be like that. And certainly for the artists, there's a temptation to look at what culture has lifted up as celebrity and think, I got to sound like that, I got to look like that, I got to be like that in order to have value. And that's just not the truth.
It's not, no. Yeah. No, cool. I like that. We got one final statement for this segment. Coffee is not good for you.
Sorry, I blacked out for a minute.
Tell me how you really feel. What's your take?
Coffee and worship. I can remember being in line at a conference once, and I was in line at the coffee shop, and worship was starting in the next room, and the lady behind me is like, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Worship is starting." And I was like, "What do you mean? What are we going to do? Worship and coffee? They're the same. They're the same." Coffee's like the coffee originated in heaven.
Oh yeah, I've come to learn that you're quite a fan.
What would give you that idea?
That's hilarious.
Now my coffee nerding is high. I'm very high on the coffee nerding scale, and so
I can appreciate that. Like oddly enough, I cannot drink coffee at all.
I'm sorry.
It just devastates me. But yeah, no, I mean I understand the value that it provides for people. So, but
it's beautiful.
At the same time, I think it's an addiction. At that, like it can be an addiction.
It's not an addiction. We're in a committed relationship.
Okay. As long as you both love each other dearly, I can't take that away from you. That's hilarious.
Thanks.
All right. So that brings us to our fourth segment of the day. It's time for a wheel challenge. Get it? A wheel, because it's
wheel. The struggle is real.
The struggle is wheel. Okay, so what we do here is we spin the wheel virtually. Well, I'll spin it for you, and each part of this wheel has a different challenge, and you only have one opportunity to complete this challenge. If you do not like it, if you have no desire whatsoever to compete, we'll laugh at you, but then you also have the opportunity to answer one question. It's a bit of a personal question. It's not horrible, but it's not so desirable either. I'll leave that up to you.
You got it.
Cool.
Bring on the challenge.
So I'm gonna move this up a little bit closer so you can kind of see it.
All right.
There you go. All right.
Spin that wheel.
Here we go. What you gonna get?
What you gonna get?
I think we just wrote a new hook.
You can use that.
Oh. All right. Okay, so we've got drawing blindfolded. Do you perchance have a piece of paper?
Earth, am I going to draw blindfolded? Yes.
You don't necessarily have to like cover your face as long as you close your eyes. I mean, I could take your word for it. Oh, but you are ready to go.
Ready.
Okay. So we've got.
Gonna look at the page. I'm going to look at you.
You're going to look at me? Okay, cool. Yeah. The only rule for this is, other than not looking, obviously, so not the only rule, but the second rule is you have 10 seconds.
Okay.
So do it as fast as you can, and then boom, show it up.
What am I drawing?
I'll give that to you. Ready, set, go. Slippers.
This is going to be awful. I'm going to know that.
For a second there, I wasn't sure if you started because you kept on looking at me. I was like, what?
I did. My slippers are complete. I haven't even looked at them. I'm scared.
Okay, no, you got to show the camera. You can't hide it.
Oh, it's
no.
Let me tell you what day job I'm not quitting.
Yeah, you should probably not quit that.
Right? Couldn't you tell those were slippers? Let me tell you what it's like raising
exclamation
children.
Marks.
Let me tell you what it's like. Mine have survived to 18 and 20.
Yeah.
I know. I'm much too young looking to have 18 and 20-year-olds.
That's what I was saying.
Thank you. the thing about raising children is you got to look at slippers like that and be like, that's the most amazing slipper I've ever seen. That's like the whole first 10 years of their lives.
So very deceitful is what you're saying. White lies. Doesn't hurt anyone.
Embellish. We do what artists do and find ways to reframe the truth. Thank you.
Perspective.
I write songs, you know.
Perspective. That's beautiful. That in itself is an art. Okay, so the next challenge to draw is going to be.
Oh, I gotta draw again. Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna do one, or we're gonna do two more.
Okay.
Okay. So, you ready?
No, but okay. It's gonna go under the slippers. Here we go.
Okay, perfect.
Ready. Not looking.
It's gonna be on my go. 3, 2, 1, go. A candle. Your face just.
Okay.
What? That's
Maybe
like 5, 4, 3.
No, I completed. I'm way under 10 seconds.
You did it already? Okay, cool. Let's see it.
Oh, yeah. It's better than the slippers. Ready?
All right. Okay, cool. I could see that. I give that a candle.
I drew a candle.
Yes. Okay. So we'll say that's 1 out of 2 so far.
Okay.
Let's see if you could take this channel.
Not bad.
Okay, the last one. 3, 2, 1, go. A treble clef. You got this.
Okay, I'm done.
Let's see it.
Right? Oh, winning.
Winning? You got it. All right, cool. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 is not bad.
You took the wheel challenge and you showed it who is boss.
Wheel challenge.
Great. So that brings us to our last segment. Our last segment is designed to eliminate brain fog for our listeners. Our last segment is called Clear the Air. Because it makes a whole lot of sense. What we do with this segment is that we want you to be honest about different kinds of challenges, common issues within the industry. And the point is to help these listeners become better and to avoid unnecessary hurdles along the way, because unnecessary isn't required.
No.
But some hurdles are. So we'll figure this out. First question I've got for you is there are a lot of criticisms when it comes to religious music and religion in general. What do you have to say to these kinds of critics?
Criticisms of religious music. I have come up against 2 kinds of criticism. And so let me just sort of outline that. The first kind of criticism would be people who've not come from a faith background, that really have no connection to a faith background, or who have been hurt by a faith background. And there are those who are not interested in a narrative that includes faith at all. But I have found that even those people who fit in that category, where religion, where church, faith-based is a sore spot for them, music tends to be the place, the leveling place, the common ground, because music tends to be palatable. And so it's almost like it's okay to express faith if it's music.
Through music.
It's much, people have a better ability to receive that. So I almost think as a Christian artist, if you're looking to reach people who are outside of a faith background or who have been hurt by a faith background, you're actually more likely to present a message with music that is going to be palatable for that person, because you're not imposing a belief system. You're opening a door to an option. You're saying, this has been my subjective experience. You get to choose from this.
Well, they're already familiar with song.
Right.
So
it can be
not so distant to them.
Right. And when something is presented in song, you're presenting a subjective experience. So people have the option of relating to that or not. It doesn't feel like an imposition. Whereas if we're in a conversation, you might feel more imposed upon if I'm talking about my faith and that's not something, if that's a sore spot for you or not something that you're interested in. If we're just having a dialogue, you might feel like it's an imposition.
Right.
Music, it presents you with the option to participate.
That's awesome. I'm happy I asked that question. Sorry, you were saying some more? Keep it going.
Listen, I always have words.
Keep it going.
But from the faith-based side of things, from within the sort of Christian music industry, there are several different streams, and I think that people they can lack an understanding of the uniqueness of each stream, and they tend to think that the music needs to fit into a particular mold, sound, message, whatever. And faith-based music that's outside of what's sort of considered the sound of the moment is maybe not as palatable to some. Does that make sense?
I think because times are changing.
Yeah, they are. And the industry, and I'm not down on the industry, but I've never fit really within what would be considered the contemporary Christian music industry mold, if there was going to be one. And I realize I may be overlapping into another question.
It kind of works.
Do you want? Well, you can ask your next question if you want, and I can go there later, or I can keep talking.
Go ahead. It's fluid now.
Okay. Editing's good. Yeah. Do I want to fit into the mold of the contemporary Christian music industry? No. If there is a mold, I don't want to feel obligated to have to fit into that. I don't want to bend myself into a preset idea. And I have hit up against that in my career. And I found out pretty early that, generally speaking, if a song doesn't fall within a 3.5 minute time frame, if it doesn't have a certain sound personality behind the song, it's probably not going to get radio play in what would be considered the contemporary Christian music scene.
Right.
That being said, it's taken me a long time as an artist to get okay with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of self-examination. And these are the questions that other artists, young artists, up and coming, people should be asking themselves. Do I want to participate in the contemporary Christian music industry, to be an influence there, to bring my voice, to bring my sound, to bring my product? And if I do, then I probably need to take a serious look at what the requirements of that industry are. And I need to craft according to that mold.
Right. Your why has to be very strong.
Right. Or I need to make a decision on the front end that that's not important to me. And I'm going to be true to the sort of organic, for me, because I have come from worship leading roots. My background in terms of faith-based music is worship leading. Songs are drawn out for a really long time because you're looking at the worship experience of the people who are singing the song back to you. Right. You're putting the words in people's mouths that cause them to worship, that cause them to declare their love for God, the greatness of God, that to declare the tenets of their faith. And that experience will never be encapsulated into 3.5 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And so
it's a longer ride. Yeah.
Right. So people that are looking for worship recordings aren't looking for that. They're looking for the longer experience. And so it's a real journey as an artist to sort of figure out, in terms of, for worship leaders, to figure out worship leadership, song crafting, recording, how it all sort of meshes together.
Yeah.
So this is just stream of consciousness. So there you go.
No, that's awesome. I mean, because a lot of people will go into music because they have that one image of what they think it looks like. And then as they go along, they experience the different kind of niche. But having a clear idea of what you want from the beginning will save you a lot of time and heartbreak.
It can. And lots of us have a clear idea from the beginning, we think. And then that idea gets put through its paces. Things happen in your life. You hit hardship. You try something, it doesn't work. All the things. The journey of the artist's journey is, reads like the journal of a manic depressive. It's really like the book of Psalms. It's really up and really down.
Yeah.
And I think you learn from that, and you adapt your dream accordingly. You adapt your goal accordingly.
Yeah.
Either it causes you to be like, no, what I wanted in the beginning is what I want, and I'm going to push through.
Yeah.
Or I've learned that actually what I thought I wanted isn't all it was cracked up to be.
Yeah.
And here's where I'd like to go. So,
yeah. You learn more about who you are and more about who you're not.
Absolutely.
It's cool. Okay. I've got another question. Your music career has seen several hiatuses. Tell us about how it was making those decisions at the time and what your reason for making them was.
Absolutely. I think those hiatuses sort of fall into two categories, and one would be where the decision was made for me by circumstances.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily have not wanted to, that was a double negative. I might not have wanted to stop, but things in life necessitated that. And
Right.
so, my first album was made in the midst of great personal upheaval, while bankruptcy was going on, while the loss of a home was going on, and that album was getting made. So what an interesting moment in time.
Talk about emotion.
Right. And then there was a several year gap, 3-year gap between that and the next project. Some of that was financial. Some of it was, having made the first album, when you make a first product, it never comes out looking like you think it's going to. And I don't think it ever does. And you learn a lot about yourself as an artist from that first project. And you can't avoid that. Your first project is never going to be the end game. And you have to sort of approach it that way. So there was a lot of growth and ideas and new things that happened within that frame. And I went on to make an album every couple of years after that. But this last sort of time out probably has been a combination of a choice to step back from making new music and having that imposed by life circumstances. And I think for the artist that writes predominantly out of that place of the muse, maybe those of us who perhaps it's a personality type. I tend to more toward that side of the brain where I will allow the flow of life, the flow of my emotions, what I'm going through at the time to really press on, bring the flavor of what I'm producing creatively.
Right.
And there are winter seasons in the life of an artist. And that doesn't mean that nothing's happening, but it means that everything goes underground for a season. Fruit trees cannot produce in the winter. And we wouldn't expect them to. The fruit would die. And I think as an artist, it's really challenging to walk through those seasons where everything kind of goes dormant for a bit. But it's as important as the times of major creativity and major production.
I love that analogy.
And so for me, the last, 3 to 5 years, I was going through some really heavy personal things, the loss of a marriage and everything that comes out of that. Watching my sort of income stream as an itinerant, someone who traveled and, did conferences and that kind of thing started to wane probably 3 years ago. And, stepping into my committee with an office job in order to keep income coming in, still always working, at my church. I pastor the worship there, and that's a wonderful outlet, working with creative people, still helping with songwriting there, still getting to sing and lead worship every week has been a real blessing for me, but not been out traveling, performing, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that it's been a real difficult season in a way, and yet I recognize that it has been absolutely necessary. Sometimes you just go through seasons where it like a seed, it has to go into the ground, and it has to go through a death of sorts in order that it can come back, bloom again, be reinvented as something fresh.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you can avoid that as an artist.
No. No, because life happens.
Exactly.
And we're living in it. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. That's super awesome. I was gonna ask, how do you think maybe, I don't want to say traumatic because you didn't use that word, so I don't want to put that word in your mouth, but these life-altering experiences, do you think they contributed in a positive or in a negative way to your art?
That's an excellent question. And I think I'll say that they contributed in a positive way, but I think it's really important that as an artist and as a human, we look at positives and negatives as equal contributors, both to our character and to our gifts. We're really quick to think, well, that was a negative, this is a positive, except that all things work together to form character. And it really just, it depends how you walk through those different trials, those different, the difficulties in your life. Mm-hmm. And if you don't walk it well, you'll get another opportunity, guarantee. Those things are going to come around again. And so I think you get to a point in life, and I'm totally dating myself here because I'm oldish.
We'll blur this part out.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. But I think you get to a point in life where you've walked through enough loss, enough heartache, and traumatic circumstances that if you are a person of faith, you begin, those those things start to fade, those circumstances start to take a backseat to who God is and what he's doing and the character that he's forming in your life and the way they cause you to get to know him better. And I can honestly tell you, I would not trade this season of difficulty for anything, for what I can see that it has produced in me, both as a person and as an artist.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You wouldn't be who you are without them.
Absolutely not.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Kathryn. That brings us to the very end of our episode today. I want to thank our listeners for tuning in, because without you, there is no show. I want to thank the people in the back. Sound guy, grumpy sound guy, you weren't so angry today, which doesn't happen too often. But most importantly, Kathryn King, thank you so much for being here. Do you have any final words?
Thanks so much, Lou. Yeah, I just have so enjoyed being here. Thanks for having me. And I certainly, if our listeners are looking to get a hold of music or resources, I'm still out there under the name Kathryn Marquis. There's a website at kathrynmarquis.com, Facebook page where you can find music and resources. Watch for that change coming, because we will be making some changes, and you'll start to see more things coming out as Kathryn King. But for the moment, if you want to find me, it's Kathryn Marquis.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Kathryn. We will also be including those links in the show notes, so don't be frenzied if you can't scramble that together right now. I believe that's everything. Thank you so much, Kathryn. Until next time, cheers. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, then follow us on Instagram at go.produce. Check out our show notes, support us on Patreon, and help us grow this community. All of this and more can be found on our website at goproduce.ca. I am Big Lou, and I want to make sure that until next time, you go produce.